The air was crisp, tinged with the faint aroma of freshly fallen leaves as I stepped into the cozy cafe where Elena and I had agreed to meet. The small corner table by the window had become our unofficial spot over the past 3 years. Today, though, I wasn't there with my usual confidence. Instead, I sat hunched over my phone, my mind a cocktail of anxiety and guilt. I looked up when she walked in, her warm smile a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me. "Hey," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. Her voice was gentle, but there was an edge of concern. "Everything okay?" I plastered on a smile, hoping it was enough to mask the truth. "Yeah, just work stuff," I lied. The problem was, I'd always been a terrible liar, and I knew she could see right through me. When I quickly pocketed my phone, her brows furrowed slightly, but she didn't press. Instead, she let it go, steering the conversation toward our wedding plans. The weeks that followed were a blur of cake tastings, venue tours, and dress fittings. Yet no matter how much I tried to focus on the future, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was unraveling. My secrets were eating away at me, and I could feel the distance growing between us. Then came the night that changed everything. I had been sitting in our apartment, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, when Elena's voice broke the silence. "Who is she?" she asked, her tone sharp and accusing. My heart stopped. When I looked up, she was holding her phone, her hands trembling. On the screen was a photo of me with someone I never intended for her to know about. Someone who had complicated my life in ways I couldn't explain. It was Sophia, Elena's sister. I knew the history between Elena and Sophia. They had been close once, almost inseparable. But their parents' messy divorce drove a wedge between them. Sophia went with her mom, while Elena stayed with her dad. Over time, resentment and misunderstandings built an unscalable wall between them. And now here I was, the guy who had made things infinitely worse. Elena's first instinct was to confront me, but instead she took a deep breath and walked away. That silence was deafening, and it left me reeling. I expected anger, accusations, anything but the icy calm she projected as she grabbed her keys and left. When she returned hours later, her expression was unreadable. "I messaged her," she said, her voice flat. "We're meeting tomorrow." I nodded, unsure what to say. The guilt was suffocating, and I knew I had no right to ask for forgiveness. Not from her, not from anyone. The next day, Elena met Sophia at a quiet park they used to visit as kids. When she came home, her face was pale, her eyes red-rimmed from crying. "We talked," she said, collapsing onto the couch beside me. "She's not who I thought she was." I listened as Elena recounted the conversation. Sophia admitted she hadn't known I was Elena's fiancé at first. By the time she found out, she felt trapped in a web of guilt and bad decisions. She'd been scared, ashamed, and unsure how to fix the mess she'd made. "I hated her for so long," Elena whispered, "but now I just feel sad." It was during one of their late-night talks that Sophia dropped the bombshell that would change everything. "Do you remember Dad's study?" she asked Elena. I wasn't there, but when Elena told me later, her voice shook with emotion. She nodded. Their father's study had always been a forbidden zone, a place filled with locked drawers and whispered secrets. "I found something in there after the divorce," Sophia admitted. "Something that made me hate him. And hate you for staying with him." Sophia had discovered a series of letters and photos that revealed their father's infidelities. Affairs that spanned years, including one with their mother's closest friend. "I couldn't forgive him," Sophia said, "and I couldn't understand why you stayed. It felt like you were choosing him over Mom, over me." When Elena shared this with me, I could see the weight of it on her shoulders. "I didn't know," she said, her voice trembling. "I didn't know any of this." Determined to confront the past, Elena and Sophia went to their father together. I stayed out of it, knowing this was a moment they needed to face as a family. The confrontation was raw, filled with accusations and tears, but it also brought a sense of closure they hadn't thought possible. Their father admitted to his mistakes and apologized for the pain he had caused. With the past finally laid to rest, Elena and Sophia turned their attention to the future. Elena ended things with me, and I couldn't blame her. I'd failed her in every way that mattered, but watching her rebuild her bond with Sophia gave me a sense of bittersweet relief. Maybe something good could come from the wreckage we'd created. The sisters started a business together, channeling their pain and newfound connection into something meaningful. As for me, I moved away, leaving them to their healing journey. I'll always regret what I did, but I'll never stop rooting for Elena and Sophia. Their bond, once broken, is now stronger than ever. And in the end, that's the love story that truly mattered.